she saw this thing in the sky. It looked like an eye to her, and it kept on watching her, and it parted the clouds. And she was, I guess, hit by a beam or something like that, and she couldn't really recall anything else. It was like her memory was lost for a little while for whatever happened to her. So she can't really explain it, but she had flashbacks of possibly seeing what we call grays. And all through her life, she was wondering exactly what happened to her. And that's how she got into HPI, because she came to me as a client, and before we knew it, we're, from a client. And I never dated clients, but anyway, but she was exceptional. And we dated, and we wind up getting married. But what happened to her, she started having, like, psychic abilities. She started seeing ghosts. She could hear voices and things like that. And when she told me the story first time, it's like I was sort of skeptical about it. It's like, okay, well, maybe not. Who knows? But I'll put your story out there, whatever. And she proved to me, because we had, a few incidents. We went to Bodega Bay, and she said, "Hey, there's something in the sky." I look up in the sky, she looks up in the sky, and it almost looks like a rocket with flames coming out at the end. Okay, well, maybe it was a rocket. I don't know. But that was one incident. The next incident was in Copperopolis, California. And she goes, "There's something in the sky right there." And I'm looking, I don't see nothing. She goes, "There's something there, I'm going to take a picture." At that time, she had a camera. For the one in Bodega Bay, we didn't have a camera with us. And she snaps the photo, and there's this, what looks like a portal in the sky. I said, "How did you know that?" She goes, "I could just feel it." I said, "Okay." And then another time, we didn't have a camera with us, but like the portal picture, it's on the internet. Another time, we're going up I-5 North towards Natomas in Sacramento, California. And she says, "There's a golden cube in the sky." And I go, "Come on, Deanna." I go, "There's no golden cube in the sky." And I'm driving, I'm trying to pay attention. She goes, "Look to your right." Well, it's kind of hard because there was a lot of traffic. And I said, "Okay, let me try to look." So I look, and sure enough, there was a golden cube in the sky. And it was half of it was covered by clouds. And we didn't have a camera at that time. But here was the big one, where she did have her camera. So we're in Elk Grove, and we're going down a street called Longleaf. And we're going down. She goes, "Go into the parking lot. Go into the parking lot." And I go, "Why?" She goes, "Don't ask me why. Just go in there." I go, "Okay." So I go into the parking lot. She goes, "There's something in the sky right there, right in front of me." And again, I look. I don't see nothing. And she snaps a photo, and there's 3 glowing discs in B formation in the photograph. I go, "Oh my God." I said, "I can't believe you." Well, basically, she uncloaked the UFOs. We both couldn't see it, but with the photograph, there they were. And so I sent it to MUFON, and MUFON was unable to dispute it. They said, "Okay, this photograph's good. We don't know what's in the sky. There was no conventional aircraft in that area. They wanted to know the exact spot where we took the photograph, where she took the photograph, etc." They were not able to dispute it. There's one day we're sitting in Barnes and Nobles, and I'm looking at one of my favorite magazines 14 times. And I'm looking through this, and lo and behold, there's her photograph of the 3 UFOs that they got from MUFON, and they did a huge write-up about how she uncloaked these UFOs. And she does that with her psychic abilities. Now, she's proven herself many times over. Like when we were first in the beginning of our relationship, we go to this one place that's haunted, and there was 3 photographers there, and she says, "It's sitting on the couch." She's talking about the ghost. It's sitting on the couch. So we snap a photo, and there's a mist on the couch. And she goes, "It's now behind the couch." We snap a photo, and the mist is now behind the couch. And I go, wow, that is incredible. Another time we were trying to get some EVPs, and we're sitting in this one room, and she goes, "Start recording now because it's talking to me." I start recording, and sure enough, we get a disembodied voice on the recorder. So when she says she's psychic, she's really psychic. And she does like tarot card readings and stuff like that. And the people who are her clients say that she actually knows what she's talking about. It's like one case where she was doing a tarot card reading. She was talking to the person. They live in Ohio, and she says, "I see this black sedan." She was describing the sedan, and it keeps on following you to your work. It's following you to your house. And the lady goes, "Oh, my God, that's my ex-husband." And sure enough, she was being stalked. Oh, wow. So my wife was dead on with that information. She's dead on with a lot of information. So it's like, so that's how it's affected her. Now, has she been abducted lately? There was just one incident here at the house where she thought she had a dream of aliens coming through the walls and standing around her bed. And I was in the living room. I fell asleep on the couch watching TV. So I didn't experience anything. I didn't see it. But that happened about 4 months ago. So, but she doesn't have any details like, of being on a ship or laying up on a medical bed or being examined or anything like that. She doesn't recall anything like that. So I don't know.
A lot of people don't. That's the interesting part. Now, a few people like Calvin Parker and some other people I've had on the show, they remember what happened. And that is what I think is the worst thing. If you've been abducted and you were taken aboard a ship and then they'd start experimenting with you and you have to go through all that pain and being scared and you remember that the rest of your life. And I don't know which is worse. I don't know. What do you think, James?
Yeah, it's really plays on you. And I got to tell you, just having them like Calvin Parker stick her fingers up in her and coming on her nose, that's horrible. I'm kind of curious, Paul, did she ever check herself for an implant?
Oh, yeah. Her stepmother is a doctor, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I completely forgot about it. But her stepmother took the implant out of her body, and I believe, if I remember right, it was located near her earlobe.
What did it look like? Because I had Timothy Cullen on, and he had his implant removed from the late Dr. Roger Lear, and it kind of like was look almost like a bearing in a way. The flat round bearings, not the ball bearing type.
Yeah, she said it. She said it was like a little ball, but it also too like it seemed like it had a membrane around it or something, like living tissue on it. Yeah.
Yeah, Like,
and her stepmother took it out.
yeah, Timothy's was when they took it. Dr. Roger Laird sent it in to have it, to the lab analyzed. It came back with being made out of silver, but the silver, the way it was formulated, couldn't have been done on Earth because it had other, materials in it that they couldn't figure out, what it was. And that is, again, that also wasn't in with a membrane around it too. And I've also had a gentleman on, Dave, who had an implant. His was actually implanted in his testicle, and it came out again. Yeah, and it came out, and he took it out on himself. He was brave, but again, it had a membrane around it. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. But she feels like she still has another implant. And I think that one's located on her leg. But, yeah. So she definitely experienced something.
How about regression? Has she ever thought about that to maybe get some more memories back?
Yeah. We discussed it, and it was just never gone nowhere. So, I'll try to push it on her again.
But that doesn't always work. Timothy Collin, again, they tried to hypnotize him several times, James and Paul, and it didn't work. They couldn't hypnotize him. Some people, you just can't do that. So to regress somebody, sometimes it doesn't work. But do you really want to know? Like with Timothy, after he had his removed, lo and behold, several months later, after it was removed, him and his wife were in the same kind of area next to this mountainside or high hilltop. He saw another UFO, him and his wife. And, I told Timothy, I said, you should go back and check and see if you were implanted again, because you had the first one removed. Yeah, I find it very strange you see another UFO close up,
And also, too, with the mysterious eye, she really feels something bad happened to her. And so I don't think she really wants the regressive hypnosis thing done to her, because I have mentioned it to her in the past, and she kind of blows it off. But she feels something very bad happened to her, and she really doesn't care to know what it was.
Well, I don't blame her, because I've had guests on would claim that, that when they were abducted, that they removed eggs and other things out of their body. Again, even with guys that been abducted, didn't I think it was Calvin Parker. Didn't they remove sperm or something from him too?
Yeah, well, he also said he thought they killed him and brought him back to life.
Yeah, I don't.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to remember that stuff.
No, I wouldn't want to remember it either. Yeah, I mean, you would definitely have PTSD from that.
Well, could you imagine every night going to bed wondering if you're going to be abducted again?
Right.
Yeah.
So
the nightmares.
We've been married since 2014, and she only experienced one thing in this house where she thought something was coming through the walls, but nothing after that. So hopefully, they'll leave her alone. So, but she does have that ability to uncloak UFOs, which is absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Well, maybe they gave that to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm surprised
she even got contacted. She even got contacted by the what was the name of that show? Unexplained Files on the Science Channel, and they were asking her about it because they had read her article, but then nothing came through with that. So, and then she had someone contact her who claimed they were from NASA, and they were asking her about the article. So that was kind of interesting. It was like, what? And she goes, yeah, NASA contacted me and blah, blah, blah. And they were just asking her different questions. Did you see the aliens? What did the aliens look like? Blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it would be. Now, I want to go back more into Area 51. What's the